Episode 79 of The Beardcaster. My name is Scott Sikora, and I am The Beardcaster. Welcome to a podcast all about beards, mustaches, and the bearded culture with all the fun stuff that goes along with it. It's about the facial hair lifestyle we live from our daily lives in the world around us and how we deal with life. So please join me as I share the stories about these people and hear how they are using their facial hair to do great and fun things. Scott Sikora is me. The Beardcaster is the podcast. You can find out more information by going to thebeardcaster.com. You can get hooked up to all my social media there, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and you can also subscribe to the podcast there. All you got to do is just hit the subscribe button and it'll walk you right through the whole thing. So it's pretty easy, nothing difficult. I try to make it as easy as possible for you because that's the kind of guy I am. You can also email me, scott@thebeardcaster.com. Today is the best episode I've ever done, ever. I'm so excited about this episode. I'm so excited about this interview. It's ridiculous. I'm like, I've been waiting. So, but anyways, I went to Richmond, Virginia, which you all know, because if any of you have listened to the past few episodes, went to Richmond, Virginia for the 2018 Great American Beard and Mustache Championship. And while I was down there, I met up with a lovely woman named Amy Black. Now, if you heard from, or as you heard in the past couple episodes, Amy Black was... When Josh Black told me, which they're not related, they have the same name though. It's kind of funny though, but they're not related. That's kind of weird though, that they're not related because they have the same last name. Because usually people who have the same last name are related. But anyway, so I had mentioned when Josh had talked about the Pink Ink Fund and he told me about Amy Black, I'm like, I want to meet her. I want to interview her. And lo and behold, the whole thing happened. So we got together in Richmond at the Canal Club the night before the event, and I wanted to talk to her, and I wanted to find out all about the Pink Ink Fund because I really wanted to kind of find out like what goes on with the money that's raised at all of these competitions that we do. We go to all these different competitions and we raise money for different charities and this and that. And I've yet to really talk to any charities that have received the money, so I figured, why not? This seemed like it would be a really cool one, Pink Ink Fund. Find out a little bit more about it, find out about Amy, and just kind of find out like what we do and how it affects her. So that's what this episode's about. It was really awesome, and I really messed up when I first started this interview because it was a lot of fun. But she's so nice, and I was so nervous going into this one, and I forgot to hit the damn record button. I was such an idiot. And so 15 minutes goes by, and I look down at my recorder, and I'm like, shit. And I was like, I could not believe it. And she was so sweet, and we redid everything, and she was just so nice and so accommodating, and I greatly appreciate it. And just an amazing person she is. But please enjoy this episode. We talk about all the things that she does and all the people that she's helped. It's just, Amy Black is a saint, and I can't speak highly enough about how much I admire what she does and who she is. And like, all I want to do is like focus so much more on trying to help her and help her charity just achieve so much and help so many people just because she is just that polarizingly awesome. So, but you have to listen to the episode to find out all about it. So, but before we jump into the episode, I got a couple little things that I got to get to real quick, and I really want to get to this. But number one, I have to apologize to Josh Black's mom for my foul language in the episode with him. As I was talking to Josh down in Richmond, he said, yeah, my mom listened to it, and she thought it was really great, but she didn't understand why I had to swear so much. And I actually thought I didn't, but hey, I'm not going to question what Josh Black's mom says, so she's laying down the law. So I just want to apologize to her, and hopefully I didn't melt her eardrums. But hey, you know what happens. I tried to keep it as PG as I could that episode, and if a couple slipped out, my apologies. As in with this episode too, I tried to you try to keep it like as clean, but we also just, this is the way we talk. So I guess I can't apologize for that. And then while I was in Richmond, so many great people I met down there, but one person in particular that I met that hunted me down, and that I just was like one of those like stunned, like shocked moments of like, wow, I can't believe, like, I just can't believe the situation. But anyways, I met a woman named Linda Adams, and she came up to me and she's like, oh my God, I just wanted to meet you. She's like, we listen to your podcast all the time. And so as I started talking to her a little bit more, she was telling me about how she works at a center where they have adult developmental vocational program. And she was telling me about how her and all of her clients that she works with listen to the Beardcaster podcast every week when it comes out. And they're all older people. Like I believe she said over 17 to 30s or whatever. And I think she said there were 16 of them. So all 16 of them listen to the podcast together, and they just love it and they enjoy it. And I couldn't believe, like, when she told me this, I'm like, wow, it was just one of those really touching stories about like how I didn't think that what I did like really entertained people. I just kind of do it because I like doing this. I like talking to the people I talk to, and it's just fun for me. And it's a bonus that I get to meet people that really actually enjoy it and think I'm actually doing something. And I guess I just appreciate it. So I ended up giving her a handful of buttons, and I said, make sure you give them to everyone that you're with, and just to show my appreciation and everything. So she sent me a picture with everyone in their buttons, and it was just one of those really touching moments that I never expected that would have ever happened, that, I was touching that many people, or not even that, but I think they are just more entertained by the show, which that is part of my plan, is to be an entertaining show, but I also want to inform people. And that's another big thing about this specific episode, is that, what Amy Black does is so important, and it helps so many women out. And this being Breast Cancer Awareness Month, it affects so many women, and for them to be able to find some sort of thing that they can do to alleviate the stress, or just the discomfort, not the physical discomfort, but the mental discomfort that one may suffer from having a mastectomy and having to get. I'm just a guy. I don't understand, what women go through when this, I know it's a very traumatic experience, and, I tried to be as understanding as I can. And I can totally feel that, a lot of women really just appreciate what she does, and it makes me just even appreciate it more, because she's changing so many people's lives, and, changing moments that are so negative into something positive. So, but I want to just jump right into this because I've babbled enough. But thank you so much for listening this far, and I'll catch you guys on the backside, and let's just jump into this and action. I hit the unrecord button. Fuck. Shit. Josh, look what you made me do.
Sorry, Scott. I know I have to.
Fired.
You're fired. I'm fired. Boy, I really screwed the pooch on that one, literally. Okay, so we're going to have to start this one all over again.
That's so super fine. Take your time.
All right. I apologize. I feel like a real wiener. I've only done that once, and that was when I was interviewing my mom. And I kid. You got to learn how to count, dog. Choo, 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 choo.
Fired.
Choo, 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 choo. Choo, 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 choo. You're like a murder dog.
I know.
Choo, 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 choo.
She will just go to town on this forever, and then I'll have to find her water.
Well, we got water here.
Yes.
So we're all set.
We'll figure it out.
Okay, so I'm sitting with Amy Black at the Canal Club in Richmond, Virginia, downtown Richmond, Virginia. We're underneath the freeway here. This place is a pretty cool club. I worked here back in the early 90s. I came through here on tour, and this is a really cool club. I remember coming here, having dinner at some pizza place or something. Is there a pizza place like next door or something, or a restaurant?
Yes, Bottoms Up Pizza, I think.
It was good.
Yes.
It was good. But anyways, we're here tonight for and let's see if I can get it right this time, the Remington Beard Boss 2018 Beard and Mustache Championship.
American beard and mustache.
See, I knew I was going to screw that one up. But so we're at the Canal Club. They're getting ready for the pre-party tonight at the Canal Club. So registration's going on, not yet, but all the vendors are coming in and setting up, which is a little different plan than what's happened before at other events. Usually, traditionally at the events, they have all the vendors there and all that stuff. But since this is such a big event, they figured they'd break it up into 2 nights and kind of, get everyone out to mingle with the vendors and mingle with each other, catch up and everything, and the raffles tonight too. And did you donate something to the raffle?
I did.
What'd you donate?
I donated 3 gift certificates.
Ooh.
One $500 gift certificate to get tattooed by me.
Are you serious, Clark?
Hey, man. Yes,
Wow.
Lois.
I might have to enter for that one and come back and get some tattooing from you.
That'd be awesome. I also did 2 certificates where you were actually donating credit to one of my breast cancer clients.
Oh, very.
So you're bidding on gifting one client a $600 gift certificate, and then you're also bidding on giving another client a $360 gift certificate towards their mastectomy tattooing.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's really cool. So, but this is gonna come out after the event. So, by that point, I'll let everyone know how everything turned out and stuff like that. But as I interviewed Josh Black a couple weeks ago talking about this event and everything, I specifically said to him, I said, there's only one person that I want to talk to and interview when I get well, I do take that back. There are 2 people, but you were the number one. I'm like, I got to interview Amy Black. I'm like, she sounds awesome. I have a friend who does very similar tattooing to what you do up in Cleveland, and I've spent many hours like hearing his stories about it and how he got involved, and I just am totally amazed with it, and I'm just amazed at like the skill level of a tattoo artist you need to be to pull it off as well as you do. So that just is a good testament to the amount of time and effort and just natural ability you have, which is quite amazing. So you originally, like you had said earlier in our interview that did not get recorded, which I can just summarize real quick, but you moved around a lot when you were younger. And you ended up in Columbus, Ohio, where you went to art school. And from Columbus, you moved to Richmond. Now, what brought you to Richmond, Virginia? What was the selling point, the desire to come here?
Well, it was probably one of the few places I had a couple of friends outside of Ohio, so that really helped. But the low cost of living helped a lot too. I could see moving here and just finding a coffee shop job like I'd been doing in Columbus, and just figuring out what I was going to do from there. The art scene was really lively. The music scene was super awesome, and the tattoo scene was great. And I'd always wanted to live closer to the coasts, but I wasn't ready to move to a place like DC or anything like that. So it was really a perfect place to get out of Ohio and try something new.
Yeah, and Richmond, Virginia is pretty trashy too. So why would you want to move there? I was throwing a hand grenade over to Josh Black there, Josh Kim. But okay, so yeah, like we were saying too, back in the mid 90s or late 90s, like even in the area where we lived around Cleveland, if you wanted to go get a tattoo, there was barely any tattoo shops, maybe 1 or 2 on each side of town, and you were kind of like stuck with whoever you got and their skill level. So there was a lot of bad tattoos given in the mid 90s in the Cleveland area, and but as the popularity and acceptance has grown, like as of right now, there might be about over 100 different places in the area, and there's so many great artists now, and a lot of them have come from nothing, and we're never planning on being tattooists, and we're just excellent artists and just kind of fell into the tattooing scene. Now, when you came to Richmond, like what exactly were you doing, and then how did that lead into you becoming a tattooist?
Oh, I wasn't.
Or a tattooer.
Sure, it's fine. Either
What
one's
is
fine.
the technical name?
It doesn't. Either one works, really.
Okay.
Tattoo artist.
A tattoo artist.
Artiste.
Artista. It's like a peddler of tattoo ink.
Yes. Mm-hmm. I wasn't really doing anything other than working and just trying to get a change of pace after being in Ohio for most of my life. You know, it was nice to get somewhere else and meet new people and just be exposed to new things. So yeah, I moved here and got a coffee shop job and just figured, give it some time and see what happens. I was real open.
Now, when you were doing that, like, I'm sure you were drawing and painting and all that stuff, correct? I mean, now
a little bit, yeah.
Now, how did, from that point of like you deciding to do it a little bit more, how did you take it to the next level with you working in a coffee shop to taking it to you actually selling stuff and making big stuff and starting to work for bigger clients? What was that step from, just working at the coffee shops here, just doing art for, I would assume, for fun, right?
It was just that I think I'd mentioned when we tried to record before that I tried to apprentice.
I screwed it up.
Yeah,
you can
that really good one.
Yeah, that really good one. You said it really well at that time.
Yeah,
but,
no, it was perfect.
Yeah. Thanks. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks for busting my chops.
You're
Makes me
welcome.
feel more relaxed.
Well,
to talk to
Ohioans.
I know we're all.
so
Yeah.
No, I had tried to apprentice a couple times before in tattooing, and it just hadn't worked out. And I'd just given up and really was just open-minded to whatever was going to happen. And something in my gut just said, let's give it a third shot. I was dating a tattooer at the time, and I did specifically tell him that I wasn't dating him to have him teach me, but that I really felt like this was an important thing for me, that I had to try it, give it a third try. And so after he deliberated for a couple months, he decided that he wanted to teach me how to tattoo, and we went from there. So that's kind of how it happened. It wasn't like I came here and was painting and drawing and selling paintings, and that evolved into it. It was more like I was just kind of, living life, working and paying rent, and then, the urge hit me again.
Now, I've always wondered this, and I've questioned other tattoo artists about this, but how difficult is the transition going from pencil to paper, brush to canvas, then from needle to skin? I mean, I'm sure it's probably a little scary at first because, though you're painting and drawing in a permanent fashion, you're putting this onto someone else. And like I said, your skills are just fantastic, so I'm sure that played into why you do so well. But how was it a difficult transition, or not too much, like just the techniques and learning how to do it right? Were you quick at learning it, or did it take a long time for you to get comfortable with it?
So I'd been getting tattooed probably for at least a solid 3 to 5 years before I ever did my first tattoo. And
so you're familiar with it?
Yeah, and it was a hardcore passion at that point. I just absolutely loved it. And so by the time I got the chance to do the first one, I was so excited. And, it was like kind of an honor to kind of reach this pinnacle of having been such a tattoo enthusiast for so long, and then finally being able to do a tattoo on somebody. I wasn't worried at all. There was no fear or anything. And I'd been instructed well enough that it was way different. You can't really compare it to anything any other material that you might work on.
Yeah.
It's not like painting. It's not like drawing on anything. There's just no way to compare it. Mm-hmm. But if you're trained by the right person, you're going to get different ways that they can kind of assimilate it, So you're not just like cold turkey.
Yeah, no, I understand that. Now, do you, like, when you first, like, your first time you put that needle to skin, like, what do you remember what your first tattoo did was? Oh, yeah. I knew that's like something you would never forget. It's like the first boy you kissed.
Well, some people do.
Girl you kissed. Oh, I'm sure they do. But for as passionate as you are about it, it was like a loaded question. I knew you were going to have the answer to it.
I was in Cincinnati, Ohio. Mm-hmm. And there was a group of kids, like probably in their teens and early 20s, that ran around, and they were super passionate about, I think they were Christians. Can't remember if they were Christians or Catholics. And they got super tattooed, and they were getting a lot of biblical stuff on them. Mm-hmm. And so the head of their group, this youth pastor, he let me do the kanji, the Japanese, calligraphy for fire on his ankle.
Oh, that's
so that was
cool.
the first one.
And how do you feel it turned out?
Oh, it was just an outline. I think it did great. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, you just start small when you're starting out. It's not like you're going to do a whole arm or anything.
Yeah, well, no, I understand that. Yeah. You can't like dive into it like head first, and I'm sure it took you many years to like really get with the shading and stuff. And I know I read that really into like the Oriental style tattooing and stuff like that. And I mean, is that just your personal preference, or is that, you just like it because of the artistic side of it? I mean, what drew you there?
I mean, like both of those things that you said, but it's just kind of like anything that you see and you absolutely fall in love with when you see it. When I first saw a book, I just ran across this book of, it was like 1970s tattooed Japanese women. They're tattooed in the traditional style, Japanese style, and I just thought they looked completely amazing and beautiful and powerful, and I just loved it right from the first time I saw it.
Now getting into what you are doing now, which is helping women. You're tattooing nipples, like the realistic nipples on women who've had mastectomies. How do you transition from like going from though it is an artistic tattoo, how do you go from this to that? Like,
from regular tattooing into the nipple tattooing?
Yeah, like what's the story on how you got there?
I was cold called, approached by a breast cancer survivor in 2010. And she was had a single-sided mastectomy, so she still had her one natural nipple. And so she needed to see if she could find an artist that could recreate a realistic nipple for her other side. So she started calling shops around Richmond, hoping she could find a woman. There weren't many women tattooing back then. There still aren't, but she just got directed my way. And by the time she emailed me, I'd been tattooing for 10 years. I already had the history from art college of studying anatomy. Not just the drawing aspect, but the fine art oil painting aspect, studying the masters, flesh tones and realism and things like that.
Yeah.
So I already had the background, the visual background of how to create the look of a flesh tone and a realistic human nipple, and I already knew how to use my pigments and stuff too at that point, from having 10 years experience. So it all just came together, and I seriously thought it'd be the only one that I ever did.
Oh, yeah, because I'm sure once you did one and then the word kind of got out, then, and especially being women, they're sensitive with their bodies, and then you make them feel more comfortable because you're a woman and you're not like looking at them in a judgmental way like a man would when he was tattooing. But now,
not all men are.
I know that. I know that, but it's the comfortability of the woman. It's
there is a comfort level.
It's just like you said that she was looking for a woman that would be able to tattoo her. It's why would I expect that she would be looking for a man to do it? Like, I mean. But, so now how does this lead to you starting the Pink Ink Fund? Now, when you started doing this and you felt like you found a way to help women kind of deal with a tragic situation in their life and make them feel as normal as you possibly could, what caused you to start the Pink Ink Fund? What was the catalyst and how did you start it?
It really was just a thought that just literally popped into my head while I was tattooing that first survivor. I, coming from more of a little bit of a punk rock background, I didn't have health insurance back then, and most of my friends didn't have it, and you just kind of crossed your fingers and hoped you never got sick.
Yeah. When you're living a hardcore life like that, it's tough, to stay healthy.
Yeah, so I kind of just figured, I was like, there's got to be other women in my position who, if they wanted somebody else to tattoo them other than the surgeon, then they wouldn't be able to afford it.
So wait, surgeons were doing it?
Oh yeah, surgeons are trained to do it as part of their breast reconstruction training.
Whoa.
So they
if you could see the look on my face right now, I'm kind of shocked at this.
It was kind of horror, maybe mixed with shock. I couldn't tell. Maybe,
wow.
I'm not sure.
Or
confusion.
Okay. I never knew that.
Yeah. Yep.
Wow.
And some of them are actually pretty good. There was a couple of surgeons that I work with now that they could do it, and I saw their work and I thought it looked great. But at the end of the day, they're the ones dealing with human tissue, with like a human life, and trying to sculpt something out of something that wasn't meant to be a breast.
Yeah.
So let them focus on that, and then if they are happy to send people to a tattooer for the tattoo part, a lot of them are more than happy to do that.
Well, and come to think of it, don't you have a couple pictures on your website of ones that you touched up that were done by a doctor?
Yes. So, and at the end of the day, sometimes people get tattooed by a medical assistant or the surgeon, and they're totally happy with it, and that's all that matters.
Yeah. That's whatever makes them feel comfortable and normal, I guess, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You don't have to go to a tattoo artist to get your nipple tattoos if you don't want to. No.
Now, what is the purpose of the Pink Ink Fund? Like, as you said, a lot of women don't have insurance. How do you handle this? Like, how does it work?
Yeah, so we just have applicants fill out online. They can do an application.
Where at? What's that website?
www.pinkinkfund.org.
All right.
And we try to keep it simple. We just ask for some information about your surgery, a little bit of financial background, and then we just review your application. Now, we do automatically qualify military, including spouses and relatives, and first responders. So anyone who's military, firefighters, police, we really try to help out there, and we will go ahead and grant you one of the Pink Ink Fund grants if you need it.
Now, where do you get most of your funding from? Do you get any type of, like, because it's medical or whatever, or considered medical, do you get any kind of government funding?
Oh, no.
Okay, I know. I was asking a loaded question.
Yeah,
no. I knew the answer was probably no to that, but I thought I would ask it anyways.
So, there's a little trick there. So if you get tattooed by a medical provider for breast cancer purposes, then
if the doctor did it or the assistant did it, then it's covered. Then
the most insurance companies will fully cover it. If you go to someone like me, I'm considered out of network. I'm not a medical professional. So what happens then, it changes from insurance company to company, and even depending on the coverage you might have with that specific company, of if they'll reimburse or not. And sometimes they'll reimburse full, sometimes partial.
So what you're saying is, if someone came to you and got it done, they could submit it to their insurance?
That's what they have to pay out of pocket when they go to an artist like myself, then talk to their insurance before they come to see what the process is with the insurance.
So then the Pink Ink Fund is there to cover the costs that aren't covered or to cover the procedure.
We actually let the recipient use it for whatever travel fees that could be covered. If they want to put it towards the artist, they can put it towards the artist. Yeah, we leave that open there.
The artist. Now, this sounds like there's more than one.
Yeah, we don't sponsor anyone in particular.
No, I'm talking like there's more than one tattoo artist doing this.
Oh yeah, now there are. Oh, nowadays.
So how many people do you work with that do this?
Oh, I don't work with anybody. Not within my studio, but I'd say within the U.S. there's probably at least 15 plus that I've seen online that are doing nipple tattooing or decorative stuff nowadays.
Okay, so the Pink Ink Fund covers nationwide, or is it just the Richmond, Virginia area?
We can be global if we want.
Oh.
We've gotten submissions from the UK. We've heard from South America. So, our reach can go beyond Richmond for sure.
So, hypothetically,
yes,
if someone in California wanted to take advantage of the Pink Ink Fund, they would submit an application to you. Could they find a artist in California to be covered?
Yes.
Or could they travel to you and have you do it? All right.
Yeah.
That is kind of convenient. Too bad all healthcare stuff didn't work like that.
I know. Yeah.
All right. So now, how do you get most of your funding then?
That
sounds like a rough one.
No, we're blessed with people that will fundraise for us. I intentionally kept the board and the crew of the nonprofit small, so there'd be very little overhead. Mm-hmm. I would say that I'm sure we have less than 5% of your donation going to any kind of overhead at the charity.
That's cool.
Yeah, so I could almost guarantee at least 95% of your donation is going directly to the recipients that need it.
That's very nice.
But when that happens, it's just like my entire board is super busy. Like, we all have full-time jobs.
Yeah.
And we don't have someone employed to be a fundraiser or an event planner.
Yeah, so I mean, your costs are just going towards general, like, probably just general stuff to keep everything going. It's
website,
Yeah.
fees for being a nonprofit,
garbage bags for the garbage cans.
We make T-shirts for events that we sell and recoup, things
That's
like
cool.
that. But
Now, how many fundraisers do you do a year, or how many fundraisers are you recipient of during the year?
on average, I'd say maybe 3 or 4,
well,
and they're
that's cool.
usually right around now. So,
All right. So, how did you end up getting involved with the RVA Beard League? That's the $20 question here.
They reached out to me.
Oh,
I mean,
really?
I'd kind of known them sort of, just in passing throughout the years.
Yeah.
And I think it was last year was the big year where they contacted me and said, we'd like you to be the recipient of our upcoming fundraiser. And I was like, thank you,
Now, Quinn comes in with the dog. She needs to get down. Okay,
Feel like
we could.
taking her? Thank you.
Oh,
No,
Yeah,
I
we
will
don't-
never pull on the thing.
We're gonna pull on
ever
Patrick
again.
Quinn's
That will never happen
chops.
again. And just loop it through the top. Yeah.
oh, you just made his day to walk the dog.
No, well, this is actually this is how he takes my dog away forever.
He
This
slowly,
is how he
I'm your
tricks
new master.
me into going, oh, she has to go to the bathroom.
That's chop guys, though. That's how they try to make you think they're all cool and everything.
she's so funny watching her run around. She's a little pig.
Oh, jeez. Hence where they got the name Frenchies.
Yeah.
Okay, so so they reached out to you. Now, had you known anything really about the club and what they were about?
I had just seen maybe events once in a while on Facebook, maybe been invited to just come hang, but I really did not know the scope of what they did.
So, what was your reaction when they finished the event last year and they gave you $20,000? Like, what was your...
I'm still blown away.
I know.
I'm still blown away.
I'm blown away about it, too. I mean, it's just shocking. I mean, it's great, and it's, good for you. And, I mean... I could only imagine, for a person like you that really didn't know anything about, the beard stuff and the contests and, raising money, assuming that, it wasn't really anything significant, and then that happens. That had to be just... I couldn't imagine how you felt. It probably, your heart is probably still smiling.
Yes. It's amazing because, like I said, we don't really have the power to fundraise that heavily ourselves. It's a really small nonprofit compared to other nonprofits. So to be able to have somebody bring that much in was a huge surprise. And I'm completely grateful. And the least that I could do in return was they did not have their nonprofit status last year. Mm-hmm. And my lawyer friend that helped me get my charity's nonprofit status is a great guy. He's already a lawyer. He has 2 kids. He's busy, but he still helps other people when he can.
Yeah.
And I hooked them up, and so they finally got their nonprofit status 3 months ago this year.
That's awesome.
And I'm so happy for them because very few groups of people have I run into that are so passionate, so well organized in a volunteer effort to raise money for charities. I'm so impressed.
Now, what was your reaction when you found out that they wanted to use you again this year and for a event that was going to be exponentially bigger than the one last year?
What can you, you just go, thank you.
Yes.
What can I do for you guys? You're amazing. You know that, you know, what can I do for you? Just tell me.
That's so nice. I talk to a lot of different clubs all over the country, and I personally, in my history of organizing events and trying to find different charities to work for, I've had the worst luck. And you're talking I'm talking national charities that they're just such a pain in the ass to work for. They're extremely ungrateful. They're extremely uncooperative. And you hand a check over to them for $5,000 or $6,000, and they're like, thanks. And then it's they don't help. They don't show up at the events, and it's so disheartening. And it's to find someone like you who has become really involved now. You're the needle in the haystack of all the charities that every club that I know of that's worked for.
Oh, that's shocking to me. That's sad. But I get it. I get it.
Yeah.
Like,
Everyone tries to work with some major local charity, and like, for instance, our club will send a thing out like, okay, everyone give their idea of who we should work for. So then you get 20 different charities, and then we start investigating. This one's not legit. This one's not legit. This one's busy that weekend. This one's, and it's just, you kind of have to whittle it down, and it's so tough to not find, like, for 10 years of doing competitions, not being able to find that right charity that fits you. And I mean, God bless these guys to find you, and now it's like, I think there's just going to be a match made in heaven for many years to come. And I mean, that is just awesome. I mean, and one of the reasons why I really wanted to interview you was because of that, because a lot of competitions have a hard time finding a good charity to work for that they can work for year after year after year. There's some that do, but there's, like I said, with ours, it's hard. Every year we change because we've had some sort of issue, and this is just, for you, like I said, a match made in heaven. And I've always wanted to talk to an individual that was the recipient of the donations from thing, because I've never...
I can totally hook you up with people.
Yeah.
There's a woman coming tomorrow, I think, that she's going to be doing a short speech at the main competition.
Oh, okay.
So if you're going to be there.
Yeah.
But I'm very lucky. A lot of the clients that work for me, they are more than happy to speak to other people, because I do get hit up by media, and I'm just like, hey, guys, do you want to talk to these people?
Oh, the baby's back.
The baby's
back.
What's wrong, honey? Okay. Maybe, no, she actually would be totally fine. Hey. You want me to take her? Oh my God. Oh, that's hers now. She's ridiculous. She's totally ridiculous.
Crazy.
She's
the spaz is right now.
Oh my God, the puppy spaz is real with her. So hardcore. Here, give it. Whoop. There you go.
No, that would be really cool. But like I said, I've tried to reach out to like charities that we've worked for in the past, that after we've given back the donation, I'd like to interview you and talk to you about your involvement with us.
Yeah.
And I can't get it to happen.
Huh.
And it's like, and I deal with who I deal with, but to actually be out of town and to set up an interview with you, to hear someone who's had successful a relationship with the RVA Beard League, and to have such success for what they've done for you, that's why I wanted to talk to you, because I wanted to hear from the person that we're all doing these for. You have all these people coming in from all over the country, and to get them to know you even more, it makes us all feel like good about it, because it's like, most of the time it's like, oh yeah, we're doing it for this dog shelter, and it's like, all right, well, you don't really know. And we have the Remington Beard Boss team that's traveling from up north, and they're stopping at all these different humane societies on their way, petting the dogs, licking the cats, doing cleaning litter boxes. I think that's what MJ was doing. But they're stopping along the way, visiting all these other places that the money that this event's going to go towards too, the National Humane Society. So, not only are you benefiting from it, but all the puppies and kitties out there that can't find homes are going to get a little bit more help too, which is nice. So, but what has been your take on beards in general? Like, for all the years, because usually beards and tattoos kind of go together. A lot of guys with tattoos have beards, at least the guys in the clubs that I know. But what has always been your thought on guys and beards? And what do you think about the whole trend? And what do you think about these guys that are here who have these super beards and crazy beards? What's your whole thoughts on that?
Well, I was a child of the 80s. We'll just go quickly here. And
me too.
Yay. So, back in the 80s, it was clean cut. I don't really think mustaches had gone
Just
by.
on
The
Tom
70s
Selleck.
were over. You're right, Tom Selleck. I can't really think of a lot of other facial hair, though, right?
Yeah, no, just mustaches.
Maybe.
A beard. No, he did a beard, I think, on Friends when he was on Friends, maybe? Or did he just have a mustache or nothing?
I don't know.
remember.
I don't even remember. But yeah, so it was like no face hair pretty much. So like the 90s was maybe a 5 o'clock shadow, I guess.
Well, and then I can probably predict where you're going to go with this. If you're in the music scene and going to see concerts and bands, those were the guys that had them.
Yeah, I mean, occasionally. I was doing a lot of metal and punk and hardcore and just alternative stuff. But even then, I think a lot of those dudes were clean cut, honestly, if I think about it. Even Slayer, maybe, with Carrie King is and Anthrax, maybe with the goatee.
Or Pantera, those
are
were the bands.
Yeah, you're right.
Those were all the bands that influenced me, too. That's why I have a goatee.
So I had limited exposure to them growing up.
Yeah.
And if I did, I think it was mostly in bands, music bands.
Yeah.
So then to see it kind of start to flourish, I'd say in like the early 2000s, I was like really thinking it was just a fad, you know, and that it would probably pass. But now it obviously isn't.
Mm-hmm.
And after being exposed to this particular kind of passion and culture for the beard and mustache thing, it's obviously a great thing.
Yeah.
I had no idea that you could have so many styles, so many approaches, so much creativity, whether it's natural or even the ladies making their own, facial beard and mustache creations.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Have you ever thought about doing that?
I have not. You know what? I'll tell you something. I have an allergy to adhesive and yeah.
Oh, okay.
So that wouldn't probably not work super good.
All right. Well, at least you know now instead of doing it and then be like, oh shit.
Yeah. There's all those welts on my face.
Yeah. Oh, well,
yeah, sad.
Okay, well, I want to graciously thank you from the bottom of my heart for taking your time.
No, thank you.
No, thank you.
No.
You and your puppy are awesome.
Thank you.
What was your puppy's name again?
Poppy Goblin.
How do you spell that?
Poppy, Poppy, Goblin, Goblin.
Who has his own Instagram page?
Her Instagram page is Poppy Goblin.
All right. Okay, well, I'll put a link to that in the show notes. What is your website, your tattooing website?
So the main tattoo website is www.amyblacktattoos.com.
Okay, I'll put a link in the show notes so you can just click it. But
Thank you.
And then the pinkinkfund.com or org?
Pinkinkfund.org.
Okay.
And we're also on IG and Twitter for the Pink Ink Fund, and my IG personal page is Amy Black Tattoos.
All right, cool. And I will find all that stuff, put links in the show notes, so if you would like to check them out and you can't remember them, you can easily click to them and they will go to those sites. But once again, thank you so much.
No, thank you very much.
I greatly appreciate this, and I wish you the best of luck, and hopefully by the time this releases, I'll know about how much they donated to you, and that should be pretty exciting.
Yes,
I'm excited for you.
Thank you very much.
All right, good luck to you.
Thank you.
Thank you. And cut. Thank you so much again, Amy. Thank you for taking the time out to sit with me. Thank you for just being awesome. And there's going to be a little video that's going to be coming out in correlation with all of this that myself and Paul Hendricks did. We met with Amy at the event, and we shot some footage with her, and we talked to one of her clients that she had done work on. And it was just really interesting to hear a firsthand experience from someone who's been touched by what she does. But I hope you all really enjoyed this. And remember, pinkinkfund.org is where you need to go if you want to make a donation, which I highly recommend you do because it's very important. I mean, she works pretty much all by donations. So it's what keeps it going, and it helps so many people, so many women just get help from this. So make sure you check out pinkinkfund.org, and that's all I can say. So if you want to know any more information about myself and the podcast, go to thebeardcaster.com. Check out the new show Talking Beards on YouTube, but you can find out more information by go to talkingbeards.com. I know I'm telling you 1,000 things to do, but hey, it's all worth it. I'm trying to get content out there that that fits everyone's needs and promotes good facial hair lifestyle and all that great stuff. So, but yeah, go to thebeardcaster.com or facial or talking. I can't even remember talkingbeards.com. It's still so new in my head. But yeah, it's a YouTube show that I'm doing with world champion Aaron D. Johnston and Chris Odom from Beards and Review. Go subscribe, click the bell so you know when we're going live. But go to thebeardcaster.com. You can get subscribed to the podcast there and hook up through all my social media. That's all I got. I feel like I've been babbling, wanting you to do this and do that. But all I really want you to do is be entertained and learn something and help people out that need help and just pay attention to the world around you. That's the most important thing, is to help the people around you that need help. And this is the way I can do it. You know, sometimes I can't get out there and get my hands dirty in the trenches, but this is the way I do it. This is the way I can help. So I hope you guys all enjoy the podcast. Don't forget to subscribe, and we'll check you out next week. Talk to you later. Ciao.